Today we're going to be doing volume of cones. So we have two examples here. They have the same radius and the same height. Okay, so that means our cylinder has the same radius and same height as this cone. That's our radius and our height is right here. Okay, so do you think they would have the same volume? Probably not, because that one is a cone, so it's smaller than that. But how much smaller is it? So look at the numbers. If our volume of this is 120 inch cubes and our volume of this is 40 inch cubes, what did we do to get from 120 to 40? Well, we have two options. We could have multiplied this by a third, or we could divide it by 3. And if we divide it by 3, hey, look, we get 40. If you multiplied it by a third, you'd get 40. Exact same here. Same radius, same height. If we divide that by 3, we get 30. So, with these two examples, let's write out what we noticed. A cone is 1/3 the volume of a cylinder. Okay, so the volume of a cone will always be 1/3 the volume of a cylinder with the same height and radius. The formula for volume of a cone is volume equals, now you're going to see it two ways, 1/3 capital B times H, or volume equals capital B times H divided by 3. I like this one better because I like to divide instead of messing with fractions. So also remember that your base is a circle. So we are going to use pi r squared. So now let's put the formula together. This right here is capital B. Okay, so that's pi r squared H all divided by 3. So that's our actual formula. That's the one we're going to use. Okay, so let's do these examples down here. So our formula is volume equals pi r squared H divided by 3. We're going to plug in our numbers. 3.14 times 5 squared times 12 divided by 3. And when we do that, we're going to get 314 inch cubes. We're still talking about how many cubes are in there. That's volume. All right, on this one, first of all, notice they give us the diameter. We want the radius. So we're going to divide that by 2, and we get 11 centimeters. Okay, so our formula is volume equals pi r squared H divided by 3. We're going to plug in our values, which would be 3.14 times 11 squared times our height, which was 10, all divided by 3. And when we do that, we are going to get 1,266.4, and they say it's 6 repeating, but I'm just going to round it up to 0.47 centimeter cubes. All right, flip the page. On to the next one. All right, so in this one, what we are doing is we are trying to figure out, with a radius of 8 and a height of 2, which one of these would it be? Okay, so volume of a cone. Remember your formula. Volume equals pi r squared H divided by 3. Okay, so let's do this. Just plug in what you have. So 3.14 times 8 squared times 2 divided by 2, and we are going to get 133 let's see, 0.97 Okay, and they don't give us units, so it's just unit cubes. Okay, let's see, 133. 133. Oh, I guess I should read what it would be. Okay, let me do that again. That was volume of our cylinders. So that's 133.97. Okay, so we want to know which cylinder it would be. Helps when you read the directions, guys. Okay, so I'm going to do 133.97 times 3. Now, why did I multiply it by 3? Because if a cone is a third of a cylinder, then a cylinder is 3 times a cone. So I'm going to multiply it by 3, and when I do that, I'm going to get about 401.92. Okay, so that would be C. Now I rounded my answer, so it might be a little tiny bit off. All right, on this one, we need our radius, so I'm going to divide that by 2. All right, so now I have volume equals pi r squared h divided by 3. That is going to be 3.14 times 3 squared times 4 divided by 3. So that equals, I never leave myself enough room, 37.68 unit cubes. I forgot to write that up here. Unit cubes. And that's your answer there. That's your answer there. So what are we going to do now to find the volume of a cylinder? We know the volume of the cone, and it's a third of a cylinder. So now we're working backwards. So we're going to have to multiply it by 3. And when I do that, I get 113.04 unit cubes. And that is E. Okay, I'm going to let you guys do the next one. Okay, so in this one, notice it says the cone below has a diameter of 12. So that means it has a radius of 6, and it has a slant height. Well, we're going to scratch out that word slant height, and we're just going to make it height. Okay, we're not going to talk about slant height. You'll do that next year. Okay, slant height, or a height of 10. Find the volume of the cone. So volume equals pi r squared h divided by 3. So 3.14 times our radius, which was 6 squared, times our height, which is 10, divided by 3, and we are going to get 376.8 unit cubes. Okay? All right. Isabella constructed a cylinder vase that has a volume of 63 cubic. So she is a cylinder vase. So here's her vase. Okay. And it has a volume of 63 centimeter cubes. Okay. If she were to turn this into a cone, or actually Jason has a cone that has the exact same height and exact same radius, what would be the volume of his? Well, first of all, first time I looked at it, I was like, well, we don't know the radius and the height. But you don't need that, because remember, a cone that has the same height and the same radius is 1/3 of it. So I'm just going to do 63 divided by 3, and I am going to get 21 centimeter cubes. All right, a cone has a volume of 300 unit cubes, and a cylinder has a volume of 100. So we have a cylinder, and it has a volume of 100 unit cubes, and we have a cone that has a volume of 300 unit cubes. Okay, is it possible that the cylinder and the cone had the same height and same radius? Why or why not? Well, first of all, if we were to divide, this is a cylinder. Okay, remember a cone is 1/3 a cylinder, so a cone's always going to be less. Is 100 divided by 3 300? No, it's not. So it is not possible because 100 divided by 3 is, can you see that? Is not 300. Okay, a cone has a volume of 942 cubic inches and a height of 9. What is the radius? So we have this cone again. It has a height of 9 inches. We don't know the radius, but we know the volume is 942 inch cubes. Okay, so 942 equals 3.14 times radius squared times 9 divided by 3. Okay, so that would be 942 equals, we're going to multiply these two together, and when we do that, we get 28.26 radius squared divided by 3. Now our problem is we need to get rid of this 3 and it's being divided, right? So what's the opposite of division? Well, that would be multiplication. And what you do to one side of an equation, you have to do to the other. So if I multiply this side by 3, I have to multiply that by 3. Okay, those two will cancel. I'm going to come down here. So this will be, when I multiply those, 2,826, and that is 28.26 radius squared. Now I'm going to divide, and I'm going to divide, and those cancel, so radius squared equals 100. Well, again, it wants the radius, not radius squared, so I have to do the square root. We did that, and this was what? Inch. So our radius is 10 inches. Okay, and we did that on yesterday's. All right, so only one y'all need to do is that, and then you'll be doing this. Okie dokie. That's it.